Acha, so what we'll do is we'll try and practice making salts. So I'm going to pick random salts और उनको देखें कि how can you make those salts. ठीक है, we've already learned how to.
Yes.
Acha, starting with the first one. Uh, just a random salt. Let's say it is MgCl2. ठीक है, I want to make. I mean, the question is make pure dry crystals of. As a pure dry crystals of this particular salt. So how are you going to make pure dry crystals of this particular salt? Every time, first thing is you have to figure out a reaction. In that reaction, MgCl2 should be produced. And so now for us, I mean, you've studied 4 reactions, so it could be any of those 4 reactions. As a first thing, so there are 4 reactions, TK, that we have done. Apart from ionic precipitation, there is I mean, you have 4 reactions. कहाँ पे लिखे? अच्छा, these 4 reactions. It's a carbonate plus acid, ammonia plus acid. You have a base plus acid reaction, and you have a metal plus acid reaction. ठीक है, all of them they produce a salt. So MgCl2. पहले बताओ, what acid would you use to make MgCl2?
We can use HCl.
ठीक है, so that's going to be HCl. अच्छा, now you can go with a metal plus acid reaction. So what metal would you use? Because it's obviously MgCl2, so the metal is going to be, it's going to be magnesium, right? So metal plus acid reaction together, what's going to be produced? H2 gas is going to be produced. Achha, but then there could be other reactions as well. You could have picked another reaction for making MgCl2, and that other reaction would be take acid again and take the same HCl, but this time instead of a metal, you could use a base. What's a base? It's either magnesium hydroxide, so Mg is 2 plus, OH is -1, or you could use magnesium oxide. ठीक है, Moiz, is this clear?
Yes.
Achha, but the only difference is in this reaction, water molecules are going to be produced. And then there's a third reaction that you could have done, and that was a carbonate. It would be the same acid, except for the fact that there's going to be a carbonate, and that carbonate would be MgCO3. Mg is 2 plus, CO3 is -2, and carbon dioxide is also going to be produced in this reaction. So you've got 3 reactions. All of the 3 reactions are producing the same salt. Okay, is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Achha, then the issue is, I mean, you can pick any reaction for salt preparation. Let's say I'm going to pick. I mean, let's talk about all the reactions. The method of preparation depends on the states of the substances. Mg is a metal; it's a solid. HCl is an acid; it's always aqueous. MgCl2, all Cl minus ones are aqueous, and H2 is a gas. TK, if you have the solubility table in front of you, so in the solubility table, where's the solubility table? This one, I think. Achha, all Cl minus ones, I minus ones are soluble except for these two. All of them are soluble. And hydroxides and oxides are only soluble for group 1, and those that are lower down in group 2. So MgOH2, MgO, etc. are not soluble. TK. So I can write the states of all the other substances as well. Again, MgCl2 is aqueous. HCl is also aqueous, and MgOH2 is a solid. Carbonates are also mostly insoluble. HCl is aqueous, MgCl2 is aqueous, and you've got water, which is in liquid state, and you've got carbon dioxide, which is in gas state. Okay, is this clear?
Yes, sir.
So the issue is to make a soluble salt. So a salt is soluble, and you have to make it from an insoluble reactant. Then that means that the method of preparation that's going to be used is going to be called. It's going to be this one. It's going to be ionic precipitation. Not ionic precipitation, but excess method. Okay, remember this whenever you have a salt that's soluble and you have to make it from an insoluble reactant, it's going to be ionic precipitation. And in ionic precipitation, what do you do? You've got these two reactants. So I'm going to pick the third reaction. I could have picked any reaction. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a beaker, add HCl to it. And HCl is aqueous. It's in the form of a solution. So I'm going to add HCl to it. And I'm going to put MgCO3, a piece of MgCO3, let's say a small crystal of MgCO3 in this HCl. And the solid has to be in excess. So you add more than the required amount, and you ensure that all the HCl is reacted, and all the HCl gets converted into MgCl2 and water, and the carbon dioxide gas would escape. Okay, so your solution would be, I mean, all the HCl would get used up. Okay, Moise, is this clear?
Yes, sir.
And this excess MgCO3 is filtered out. Okay, this one is filtered out. So, so the explanation for this is, okay, if you want to write the explanation, it's going to be that add excess MgCO3 solid to HCl aqueous and keep adding until MgCO3 remains undissolved or effervescence stops because all the HCl has gotten used up. And remove excess or filter excess MgCO3. So you filter out excess MgCO3, and the final step is you crystallize. So the final step is once the MgCO3 is also gone, the final step is going to be crystallization. So evaporate the solution to saturation point.
So हम उसको basically heat provide करके evaporate कर देंगे solution को.
हाँ मतलब you get rid of the water as well. So you get only crystals of MgCl to evaporate solution to saturation point and cool gradually. You can remove the water all at once. So evaporate solution to saturation point, you cool gradually, and then you filter off or filter out crystals that are formed. And what you also do is you dry the crystals in sunlight. अच्छा in sunlight. तो अब आपने क्या करना है कि try making another salt. ठीक है, same method. Try making let's say you try and make कोई भी ले लेते हैं uh, Fe iron nitrate. ischik crystals. So you're supposed to make pure dry crystals of this thing. ये जरा भेजो ना पहली चीज. First thing is make the equation. I mean, there are 3-4 reactions that you could use. Make all 3-4 reactions. ठीक है, balanced.